Hallo en welkom by meneer Libbe se les oor direkte en indirekte rede. Vandag gaan ons kyk na direkte en indirekte rede wat in Engels direct and indirect speech is. And to understand that, we firstly have to look at what is direkte en indirekte rede. So when I'm talking about direkte rede, direct speech, then it is when someone talks directly to you. It's only you and the person. So it's a discussion between two people and it's directly to one another. Indirect speech is when someone retells a story. So for example, you and your friend are having a discussion, which is direct speech, and then your other friend overhears you talking and then goes and tells the story to someone else. That would be indirect speech. And I put there in brackets gossip, because it is almost like gossiping. So then there are certain rules. As with everything in Afrikaans, there are certain rules and steps that we need to follow, and each one of these rules change according to the type of sentence I have. So in the first instance, we have a stelsin, a statement sentence, and for now, we're only looking at direct to indirect speech. So our example sentence in this case would be, Vusi sê, ek wil jou graag môre help met die werk. So Vusi says that he wants to help you tomorrow with the work. Okay, so now let's start. Step 1 would be, vat weg jou leestekens. Take away punctuation. So if we look at that sentence, our punctuation in that sentence would be the semicolon and the quotation marks, die dubbelpunt en die aanhalingstekens. So we have to take that out. As you see in the second sentence, the punctuation was removed. Die leestekens is weggevat. So that is step 1. So if we think to when we're baking a cake, for example, when the recipe says you have to put in milk, you are not going to put in eggs. So we have to follow this recipe for direct and indirect speech and not try and do 3 steps in one. We just have to follow the steps as they go along. So step 1 is take away your punctuation. And then I only take away my punctuation. Step 2 is put a dot in the place of the semicolon or the quotation mark. So where I took out my punctuation there, I have to put in a dot. So this is only, remember, it's only for a stelsin, a statement sentence. For the rest of them, they have different rules, but for a stelsin, I put in a dot. Then, step 3 is change your pronouns. So if I look at the table I have in front of me, this is a table we use to know exactly how to change the pronouns. So if I look on the left-hand side, the ek, hy, sy, jy, my, ons, hulle, jou, hom, then those are the words I have in my sentence. So this would be in your direct speech sentence. I have to change them into the words that are on my right-hand side. So now let's look at the example sentence. Vusi sê dat ek wil jou graag môre help met die werk. So in that sentence, my pronouns would be ek and jou. So if we go back to my previous slide, to the table, then we look at ek and we also look at jou. So then we find ek, it's there in number 1, and then we go changes into hy or sy depending on the gender of the person, and jou changes to hom of haar depending on the gender of the person. So when we go back to our sentence, it would be Vusi sê dat ek would change into hy because Vusi is a boy. Jou, it changes into hom because it's a boy. So then you just take out those original pronouns and you put in hy or hom. So that's all we do for changing the pronouns. We didn't change anything else, just the pronouns in this step. Then step 4 would be to verander die tyd, to change the time. So now we're not talking about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and so on. We're talking about the time words we have in the sentence. If I have vandag in my sentence, it changes into daardie dag. If I have hier, it changes into daar. If I have môre, it changes into die volgende dag. If I have gister, it will change into die vorige dag. So now if we look back at our sentence, we have môre, So if you go back to that table, it will change into die volgende dag. So then take it out, you just put in die volgende dag. And that's all. We didn't change pronouns in this step, only the time. So then our step 5 would be move your verbs to the end. So with our previous lesson, we looked at stompie. And in this instance, we have to know where our verbs are. In the position of verb 1, verb 2, we have to now move them both to the end. So in our sentence, it would be Vusi sê dat hy wil, that's our first verb, help is our last verb. So if we take them out completely and we move them to the end, in the order that we took them out. So in the end of the sentence, it would be verb 1 and then verb 2. Vusi sê dat hy hom graag die volgende dag met die werk wil help. And then step 6, which is our final step, rewrite the sentence. So if you did all these steps separately, as you should be doing, you should now rewrite the sentence with all the changes you made. The first step would be to take away the punctuation. I take away my punctuation. Vusi sê ek wil jou graag môre help met die werk. Step 2, put in a dat where I took out the semicolon and the quotation mark. Vusi sê dat ek wil jou graag môre help met die werk. Step 3, change your pronouns. Vusi sê dat hy wil hom graag môre help met die werk. Step 4, change your time. Vusi sê dat hy wil hom graag die volgende dag help met die werk. Step 5, Vusi sê dat hy hom graag die volgende dag met die werk wil help. So our verbs are at the end. We had to move them to the end. And that is the lesson for today. Thank you very much.